were staying with my uncle, my uncle Edmond, who lived up in the hills on Tyneside, and he was so great to us. He took us everywhere. Literally from the top of the country all the way to the south, and everywhere in between. I mean, he literally took us everywhere for 2 full weeks. And at the end, we decided we wanted to just, we were young kids, we didn't have anything. We wanted to thank him. We wanted to tell him how grateful we were, how much we loved him. So we said, Uncle, we're taking you to dinner. Whatever you pick the best restaurant in all of Beirut, we're going. So we did. Qasr Hadin, that's the name of it, I forget it. So we said, if you order whatever, just bring it. So he brings it. And we listened to him order, and there's, the maza, the hors d'oeuvre dishes, the little brown ones with the darker brown around the lighter brown with the hummus. And you know what I'm talking about. So he brings, there's like 15 of them come. And the last one that comes, we recognize the sound of some he orders and some we don't. The last one, it comes and it's called ikha. Or obviously you may also know it as mukh, right? Mukh. Okay, there you go. All right. Or in the Lebanese dialect, a little softer, it's ikha. The ka is the brain of the lamb. And they bring it on a dish, and he sets the ikha on the mukh. Right? And I looked at this face. I said, I'm not even going to think. And my uncle, of course, what's the matter? This is the best in the whole world. I said, I don't care what it is. I'm not eating that. Like, it's a treat. And it's the best, it's the most, it's the delicacy. That's what I do my cousins. I'm like, really good. So, sure enough, Johnny's a good sport. He says, I'll try it. No problem, I'll try it. So he takes his fork, and you can see his hand. I mean, this is a real story. I don't believe all my stories. This one's for real. So his hand, he takes it and he puts it in his mouth. Very great gentility. And he eats it. And I see him reach, and he takes his Coca-Cola, and he just takes a big, long swallow. The rest of the meal was great. We were grateful to my uncle. We thanked him profusely. We loved him. He really was good to us. And later that night, it was our last Beirut. We got home, and we got into bed, and I looked at him like, okay, come on. He says, what? Like something's the matter. I said, dude, you ate brain. You have to tell me, what was that like? What did it taste like? And he says, I know why they call it mukh. Because when you put it in your mouth, you say mukh. He really did. He's really funny. Anyway, so he never forgot that story. Literally, 22, 23 years later. He was a great soul. But, it was something that was uncomfortable, different. Not something that is, norm. At least for us in this country, it's not something of the norm. And yet, he was unafraid, and nothing really happened to him. I mean, maybe his taste buds tingled for a little while, but nevertheless, all was okay. In some real sense, now, I'm not even stretching this at all when I'm talking about eating a lamb's brain. In some real sense, God provided for him. Right? And he did the right thing. I did not. He did the right thing, and that he was hospitable to our beloved uncle. We're experiencing in the world today something, though not as silly or funny as eating the mukh, but something that is on a grander scale, much more important, much more serious. And I'm concerned really for the well-being of our souls. That's why I want to talk about it today. And it is, we can all see it on the news, and it's all over the world. It's the topic of every conversation. It is this immigration. And it is the refugee program that we have, the Syrian refugees, the Iraqi refugees. You even know that St. George is, we are in Howard, the third And there are people in our parish sitting in the pews next to you, even maybe you yourself, who grew up in that environment and were persecuted by people in that environment. And now they're asking, oh yeah, you're going to bring those people who persecuted us here? Right? And those are legitimate questions. I hate no man. I'm really a big fan of Islam. I'll say it. Not a big fan at all. And all of those people that are suffering, that are refugees over there, when they come in through the State Department, we don't really have much of a say on how we and who we are able to bring in, who we are able to sponsor, unless we, as St. George, become our own sponsoring agency, which we don't even know how to do that. We are looking into it. So with all of that being said, I feel this great angst. Because like I said, I'm publicly confessing all my sins. Maybe it's by God's grace that the camera didn't work today, because I don't know that this should be out there for the world to see. I don't think I'm afraid to say it, or I wouldn't say it. But the reality of it is, I'm not comfortable with it either. I personally would rather bring our Orthodox brothers and sisters, Orthodox Christian brothers and sisters into this country, and they are suffering and have lost. And we have people in this church who have family that still struggle. I would rather serve them, really. And the world is pretty much telling all of us. You can see it. It's rampant when you watch the news. It's rampant. The Islamic terrorism, the radical Islamic terrorism, and all the things that they say. You know what? Like I say, I'm telling you, confessing my own sin before you all, I'm struggling with it too. And here's why I'm struggling. Because the world's way is to tell us to keep them at arm's distance and only to serve your own. The way of the world is to tell you to draw a distinction to any type of person in need, right? That's what the world is telling us. Jesus Christ is telling us something very different. And now it becomes hard. And now it becomes real. It is the way of the warrior saint, right? It's totally counterculture, counterintuitive. It is the way of the gospel, right? It is the way of the gospel. In the book of Proverbs, the Lord says in chapter 25, verse 21, if your enemy is hungry, feed him. If your enemy is thirsty, give him to drink. If you do this, it will be like pouring heaping coals, hot coals upon his head. And listen, and the Lord will reward you. Now there's no condition, disclaimer to it. It is that the Lord says in Proverbs to feed your enemy and to give drink to your enemy. Regardless, just take care of even your enemy. You can hear them. And I don't want to do that. I want to take care of my brothers and sisters, Orthodox Christians who are suffering in Aleppo. Right? That's what I want to do. The Lord is telling us, I don't really care. Not that he doesn't care about them, misunderstand. But what he's saying is, I don't care who you take care of. Take care of. Serve. We hear also, jumping out to the New Testament, the Apostle Paul, the great apostle, father of the Christian faith, who preached the gospel given to us in Christ. He says, if possible, so far as it depends on you, if possible, so much as you have the ability, he says, live peaceably with other people. Live peaceably with all. Never avenge yourselves. Vengeance is mine, says the Lord. I will repay, says the Lord. And then, in that same verse of Romans chapter 12, verse 20 and following, St. Paul quotes again Proverbs, if your enemy is hungry, give him food. If he is thirsty, give him drink. So you can see in the Old Testament, God, even in the times of the wars in Canaan, God was saying, feed, take care of your enemy. St. Paul, the foundation of the Christian faith, is telling us again to feed and take care of those in need. Jesus Christ himself now, in the Gospel of Matthew, says, you have heard that it was said to love your neighbor and hate your enemy. He's asking us to be warrior saints, not to be discriminatory. Look, I believe in discrimination, not in the way you're thinking. I think we have to have discriminating minds to discern right from wrong. But in this case, specifically, he's asking us not to discriminate when there is need. And it's hard. I understand it's hard. Now let me tell you what I'm not doing today. I'm not pushing anybody. Let me say this. I'm not pushing our parish into working with Catholic Charities to bring in a bunch of Muslim families. We don't know that we're even going to go with Catholic Charities, right? We don't even know that. We're interviewing to see if we will work with them or with others. What I'm asking us is to begin to think differently. Do you understand? To begin to think differently. It's a hard thing. Look, I've expressed to you my own frustrations. I know that many of us have, and many of us don't. Thank God. Many of us don't. What I'm asking us is to think different, to recognize that Jesus Christ has asked us, really commanded us, whether we like it or not, commanded us to love those people who are in need. And so what I'm putting before you, to think about that, to remember that, because look, this is on a grand scale. We're really talking on a grand scale right now. But how many of us suffer from that in the day-to-days of life? I mean, I do. I'm sure we all do. Right? And so we have to learn how to love those who are in need regardless when they're in front of us, so that we can learn how to love those who are in the world, suffering at large. Remember the words of God from the book of Proverbs. If your enemy is hungry, feed him. If he is thirsty, give him to drink. And the Lord will reward you. Because what God is not asking you to do is worry about their behavior. What God is asking us to do is to live like Christians, independent of how the other person will respond to that. Their behavior is between them and God. And God will come again to judge between all living and dead. We'll leave that judgment to him. But our behavior, the way we live our lives, is between us and God. And God has asked us, nay, commanded us, not to be like the nations, not to be like other people, to be countercultural, to be, indeed, warrior saints, and to love without abandon. As I think about this and I wrestle with it and I toil with it, you know what, if we don't do that, we become just like the ones we're persecuting and bad. We become just like that.